Howdy everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make this easy flatbread pizza. Alright, so first I'm going to prepare the toppings for my pizza. So here I have some Italian sausage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it from the casing and just cook it in a pan, just like I would some ground beef. Okay, so here I have the sausage in a pan. I didn't put any type of fat in there. You can add avocado oil, coconut oil, or olive oil to cook up your sausage. This sausage has already flavors and seasoning in it, but if it didn't, I would go ahead and adjust whatever seasonings that I like. So go ahead and season your meat however you like it. Okay, so it's been about 7 minutes and my sausage here is cooked. There we go. I've left little clumps, but anything big I've kind of broken it down with my spoon just to make sure everything is cooked. But I want to show you, I didn't add any fat to this because look at all that. Okay, so now I'm going to take the meat out of the pan and I'm going to leave this fat in there. For some vegetable toppings, I have chosen some onion, which I have sliced up, some baby bella mushrooms, and some mini sweet bell peppers. So I've just sliced them up and I'm going to finish up with that one as well. Okay, so I'm going to take those vegetables and I'm going to saute them, and as you can see here, I've got lots of fat that rendered from the pork sausage. If you feel like you don't want to use the fat from the meat, then drain that out, but don't clean the pan because we want whatever flavors are left in it. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some of this fat, but I am going to drain or remove some of it from the pan because I don't want that much. Well, as you can see, I don't have very much fat in there, so now I'm going to add the onions. And I'm going to saute them first so they're translucent. Okay, so my onions are getting translucent and they've picked up a lot of the flavor that was left in the pan from the sausage. Now I'm adding them little mini bell peppers and I want to saute them before I add the mushrooms. Alright, so after a couple of minutes I actually added a couple extra teaspoons of that fat. And now I'm going to throw in the mushrooms and I'm going to saute them just so they're nice and brown and they've softened up. Okay, so for an additional vegetable topping for my pizza, I'm going to use some yellow squash. I already have this pre-sliced frozen, so I went ahead and I defrosted it in a little bowl in my microwave so that I can go ahead and use this as well. Alright, my vegetables are sauteed to my liking. It took about 5 to 6 minutes for them to be at the state that I want them to. So this is what they're looking like. Okay, so here I have all my toppings ready. I also have some shredded mozzarella cheese on the side. So now I'm going to make the bread or the dough that my pizza will be created from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you footage of my almond flour, coconut flour, cheesy flatbread. This is a pre-recorded video that I've already presented to you guys and shown you how I make it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take footage from that and place it in here so that I don't have to videotape all of that all over again. But I will show you the end results of what I actually make tonight, and of course I'll be putting all the little toppings on it. Now in this bowl I have 2 ounces of cream cheese and I have a cup of mozzarella cheese. I'm going to put this in my microwave for about a minute. This can go in for anywhere from 30 seconds, a minute to a minute and a half, depending on the strength of your microwave. Also, many times I do half of this portion, so I put it in there for about 30 seconds. Sometimes I add 10 seconds at a time until I get it to the smooth consistency where I can mix it all up. So for now, this is going to go in there for 1 minute. Okay, so this is what it looks like after actually a minute and a half. So I did 1 minute and I decided I needed another 30 seconds. I'm going to give you one tip. When you put the cream cheese in your bowl and you add the mozzarella, place the mozzarella over the cream cheese. That way that will not pop all over your microwave, or just cover your bowl. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And as you can see, this is really soft when I put my fork into it. Now from here I want to move really quickly because this will start to get a little hard because it'll start cooling off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to season it with some salt. And I'm also going to season it with my favorite herb seasoning, which is a garlic and herbs. You can season this with like chili powder or paprika or a cayenne or whatever other herbs you want to put. Some rosemary in there, go right ahead. Make it for your taste buds. So I'm just going to add the seasoning that I like in there. And this is about a teaspoon of this garlic and herb. aside from the flour, the salt. I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and I kind of want to make sure that I get it everywhere. And then I can just mix this up a little bit. And if I feel like this is hardening up on me, I just go ahead and put it in the microwave, like I said, 10 seconds and so forth. Okay, so this is good enough. Okay, so now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons and a half of almond flour. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon and about a half to 3/4 of coconut flour. Now, this you can add a little bit extra depending on how this all feels for you. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. And this isn't going to mix like really well, by the way, just so you know. This is not going to mix super well. So you want to mix in that baking powder in there first, then your herbs and your seasonings before you put all this in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper and I'm going to dump all this onto my parchment paper. So I'm going to scrape my bowl and get all that in there. Okay, so now that I have it all dumped in there, I just take the sides and any loose almond flour, I just press it into the dough. So basically I am kneading my dough. And you can see here where, you can see the colors kind of like a marbling. So it's not going to mix really well. Just do your best. And it's warm, by the way. Could be hot as well, so just be careful. Okay, so when you get it to the consistency you like, you can use your hands if you want. I'm going to take half of this, half of the parchment paper, and I'm going to place it right on there and then fold the other half over it like this. Okay, so now that I have it like that, I'm just going to press it down a little bit, and then I can use a rolling pin, and I happen to have this little one. This is a little pastry rolling pin, and I'm going to spread this out as much as I can on here. And you want to roll it out fairly thin. Now, normally when I use half of the dough, of the ingredients, if I use half of the ingredients, I end up stretching it all up about this size. Okay, and this is probably maybe about 5 by 9 or so. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my baking sheet. Okay, here I have a baking sheet, and it's got some parchment paper, and I'm actually going to spray that with a coconut oil spray. You can use an avocado spray if you prefer. Okay, so now that I have that, I am going to take my rolled out piece and lay it right in there, and then take this parchment paper that I had that on there, put it on top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out because I want it fairly thin, like I said, and just roll it out to about the size of my pan here. It's just a regular size cookie sheet, by the way. Okay, so I've almost got it the size of my pan. The shape does not matter, so don't worry about what it comes out looking like. You just want it to be evenly spread out. All right, so here are the 2 pizza doughs that I have made for tonight. I've got my oven preheating at 350 degrees. So as soon as that's ready, these will go in the oven and they will be in there approximately 7 minutes. Now I want them to get golden, so I might put them in there for a little bit longer, but we'll check them out. At 7 minutes. All right, everyone, here is my flatbread after 7 minutes in the oven. Again, it was 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This is what it looks like underneath, and as you can see, it also has a nice golden little toastiness to the bottom. This could go in there for another 3 minutes if I wanted it to be crispier, but I'm happy with the way that it is. Okay, so now we want to put our toppings on our pizza, and of course, there should be a sauce whenever you have pizza. I'm not going to be using a sauce because of my dietary needs. A sauce would have too much sugar, and I don't have yet a recipe that I can use. Not only that, but these flatbreads are pretty thin, so I don't want to add anything wet or liquidy because the ingredients that I have already have enough moisture to them. So I don't want to get this all soggy. So instead, I have sliced up some tomatoes right here. So I'll be using that. And again, here are my toppings. So let me start building our pizzas. All right, so my first layer is going to be some shredded mozzarella cheese. Of course, you can use whatever cheese you like, whatever melty cheese for this topping. Second layer is some meat. My third layer is my sauteed vegetables. And then I topped it with my yellow squash and the tomatoes. And then I seasoned that with some garlic herb seasoning. You can add whatever seasoning you want. Maybe even add some fresh basil on top of this. But as you saw when I sauteed everything, I did not add any seasoning. So this is where I'm going to season it. And then I add some more cheese on top, and of course more of my garlic herb seasoning. Now my garlic herb seasoning does not contain any salt, but the sausage should have plenty of salt in it. And then I'm sprinkling it with some Parmesan cheese, and that contains salt as well. So use the seasonings of your preference and of your needs. Okay, so now this is going to go back into my oven, which is still hot, and I have it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to put these in here for about 5 or 7 minutes. I really want that cheese to get nice and melty onto my flatbread and all my ingredients to get stuck on there with that cheese. So it's up to you if you feel like you need more cheese on here, but I think this is enough because my flatbread was already made with cheese. Now you might be thinking, well, gosh, that is a lot of cheese. I don't make these flatbreads and this pizza like this quite often. This is pretty much a treat, and I only make this after I've had a very good workout. If I've been outside working in the garden and you know, skipped a meal probably because I have been so busy. So that is what I'm having today. I'm going to enjoy it. Let's get it in the oven. All right, so almost 7 minutes later, because I pretty much almost forgot about my pizzas, but here they are out of the oven. They look super nice and they're super hot. I'll lift one up just so you can see that it didn't get burned or anything like that. This little edge is a little crunchy, but it's not burned, as you can see, the color. And there we go. So there you go, about 7 minutes or so. And all that cheese is nice and melted, so I think it's time to slice one up and see what that looks like. Now what I have done is I've cut my pizza in half, and then in half again, and then those pieces I've cut them in half to make these little kind of rectangular, squarish type of little pieces. And the reason that I've done that is because my flatbread is still soft and it can't get quite soggy with all these ingredients. So I just like to lift it up like this, like a taco, and it's ready to eat. So look at that. Oh my God, that looks so good. All right, so I plated a few slices and it's time to give this a taste. So here we go again. Guys, this was so delicious. It's nice and flavorful. So just go ahead and add any of the toppings that you prefer, but I do recommend that you make my almond and coconut flour flatbread. It is a nice alternative to having a dough if you want to save on some calories, and of course you don't want to have any carbs. So there we go. This has been my pizza. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed the recipe and that you will try it. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and let me know what you think of my recipe. Are you going to be trying it? Have you already tried it? And what would you have put on it or have put on it? So share your ideas with everyone in the nice comment down below. And I want to thank everyone who has been subscribing. And if you haven't, please hit that red button and then the notification bell so you get notified of my videos, which I put up twice a week. All right, everyone, please share on your social medias. Be kind, respect each other, and spread the love. And as always, enjoy.